Sunday, y'all, and we're gonna just have some light conversation. Ask a piano teacher who cares. So these two piano teachers who are gonna come online with me today, never met one of them, and another one is a pianist for the praise team that I do sing for, and just really getting a deeper conversation and a deeper look into who they are as piano teachers. I think that this is really a good foundation to start to get to know people and to open up the conversation so that we can find out how different are we, but then we can find out how similar we are. So I'm about to bring on entrepreneur, classical pianist, Cliff Jones, and another teacher and musician who I call the professor, Godfrey Willis Jr. Again, my name is Beverly Burton, and I am a piano teacher who does care. Fun about you. What do you do, Cliff? What do you do for fun? Tell us what you do for fun.
I play basketball.
Okay.
Whenever I'm on the court, I like to emulate my game after Kobe Bryant. That's my favorite basketball player of all time. I love to read. I like to make beats, hip-hop beats, R&B beats. My friends, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you said cook.
Oh yeah, cook too. Yes, I'm definitely a good cook too. I am definitely a good cook. Yes.
That's what's up.
Yeah, that's yeah.
All right. So Godfrey, what does Godfrey like to do for fun?
Godfrey, what does Godfrey like to do?
Yeah.
I'm a hermit.
Okay.
Actually, I like playing ball though. It's been a while, but I love playing basketball. I love reading. Production is just something I take joy in. You get to be the band that you never had. Right. Just like coming up with ideas. Like I literally have a book where I have my own scratch pad with stuff. And this sounds like an odd thing too, but I love organizing things. At least organizing thoughts. That I find to be fun. I also have another, prefer to sit there and have my thoughts organized.
Wow.
That's about it to me.
That's dope. So y'all know that we got to schedule a basketball game when...
Yes.
I think for me, my favorite pastime is actually football, and I would say basketball. I love...
Okay.
That's my love. I like to cook. I like to really experiment. I think for right now, baking bread has been my thing. To read, because I like learning new things and new ideas and stuff like that. I think in my next life, I'm gonna probably be a producer. So it's good to be in connection with you two guys.
Exactly. That's right.
Come on.
Come on.
That's right.
Love classical piano. Love theme parks. So if anybody want to go to Great Adventures, we need to plan.
I do. I'm down.
Okay, good. I love theme parks.
Let's put that before the basketball game, so at least I have something to brag about before I get embarrassed.
Got you. Listen, it's all good.
Got you.
Piano teachers, we're regular people too. We just have a passion for the arts and a passion for teaching piano and seeing the best in our students.
Patience is definitely important.
End goal of where I want to be and what I want to do.
Of getting students to believe in themselves.
Most of my students have been perfectionists. They're used to getting everything so quickly, doing this, taking out things 1, 2, 3. And the perfect example is on Friday, one of my students, he's like 7, 8 years old. He happened to be a perfectionist as well. We were learning a new scale, B minor scale. And it came to a point where he was just like, just a Cliff, I can't do this. He was getting really frustrated. And I was like, it's all right. I know this is something new. I know this is something challenging. It's the only way you're going to do this is if you're patient with the process.
For me, it was more so just working with one of my students and realizing like, hey, they were kind of getting frustrated with the process. And they didn't really want to push through to get it done. I kind of dug a little deeper to come to realize that they didn't really have much to think about in terms of an end goal, just more so as a side thing that they were going to just, play we should even call it the day. Then that also made me, think on myself that if I don't have my end goal prepped and ready, if I don't have an end goal of where I want to be and what I want to do, then I can't, project that through my teacher.
Is that each student needs to be in charge of their progress, getting them to appreciate themselves and their gift more, because the world will definitely tell them what they think about it. A lot of people do not continue with their goals because they're so worried about what someone else thinks versus what they believe or they know about their own self. So getting them to really be confident and see the worth in their gift is really helpful.
So my first piano teacher was when I was 17 years old at the Harlem School of the Arts. Her name is Delilah Kudatsadeh. Russian teacher. I remember my very first lesson. I brought to her the La Campanella, which is a really challenging piece by Franz Liszt. And I wrote them with like a lot of confidence, like, oh, I can do this, right? And then we going through the piece, and like I made a mistake, and she was like, dirty notes. I was like, what is dirty notes? I'm like, she's like, no, you played this wrong. Do this section again. Do this part again. And like the lesson was an hour long. And I just remember that lesson being like an hour of her just yelling at me, screaming on me. And my grandmother happened to be outside the room of the lesson. And she was like, yo, are you okay? And my teacher was like, listen, he's okay. He can handle it. So I studied with her for 8 years. The most important thing she imparted to me was the importance of listening to yourself when you're playing. The importance of understanding that musicianship, the story that you're trying to tell your audience, is more important than just playing extremely fast on the piano. Because everybody and anyone can just play notes on the piano, but if there's no substance behind it, then it's all for nothing. So definitely musicianship over technique. That's one of the things that she really imparted to me.
For me, my first piano teacher was my uncle, Lincoln Barnaby. It was way back when I was about the age of maybe 5 or 6. And he had taught me, I wouldn't say that he's really saw much, in terms of piano playing in me, but, just hanging around with my musical uncle, he saw that I had the interest. So he taught me my very first song, As the Dare, and I promised myself, like, hey, one day I'm going to, play this song full through for you. He showed me the chord progressions and everything. And like, I'll never forget that day. Like, it was just amazing. So from there on.
My first piano teacher was Loretta Madison, and I think that when we were studying, I was 6 years old just about, and she was about maybe 70 at the time. She had told my mom not to bring me back to piano lessons because I would embellish on all of the classical songs that she would give me, and she wanted it just purely the way it was. So I appreciated her, because in the long run, it gave me a higher sensitivity to the creativity of my students, where I'm able to allow them to create. So I'm like, okay, do it the way it's written first. And then if you have an inspiration that you want to put on it, then do that. I even let them do it during the recital, where they'll play it once the way it's written, and then once the way that they interpret it. Just letting them know that being creative is another aspect of the strength. Allowing parents not to get too frustrated, because I think parents get frustrated when their kids step outside the box. But I'm like, well, that's what makes your child unique. Their ability to actually see things a different way and execute it. Because some kids don't have that courage enough to say, I want to do it differently. And I don't ever want to stifle that. It helped to mold me as the piano teacher that I am. And I do take a lot that she gave. Like, she was really strict about timing and counting. And I think to this day, I get my kids to always count. But to get that rhythm and that flow, counting is really important.
Success to me as a teacher is whatever student I'm teaching, if they put in the work, really show the process, trusting the process, and showing the patience and the resilience and the perseverance to overcome the different obstacles that they're facing through the various pieces, and they reach a certain level, and they're like, this is the level they want to stop at, and they feel like they've done all the work that they needed to do, and and of course I'm watching them grow, and they say like, this is their pinnacle. To me, that's like my definition of success as a teacher. I brought them from here to whatever level that they want to end at.
For me, success for me as a teacher is, making sure that my student, it's seeing my student reach the goal that they set for themselves. Knowing that's why for me comparing to setback goals, because I want you to know the success you see when you reached it. If their goal was to say, I want to learn how to play this piece, or I want to learn how to do this technique or whatever the case might be. If I can get them from where they are to learn said technique or learn said piece, as long as they can do it successfully, then I feel that to me is success. I get success from watching my students attain their own success.
So success to me as a piano teacher is getting my students to the point where they can teach what they know to somebody else, no matter what age they are. So if they're learning half notes, they should be able to share and demonstrate what a half note is and get someone else to understand that. That for me is success.
All right, so I remember I came down to my job, Harvard School of Arts, getting ready to leave the job. And he was like, yo, I want you to take over my classes, my 2 classes. And I was just like, oh, okay, all right, cool. So I took over the classes there was maybe like a month left in the semester. I did those 2 classes. And then in the summer, a regular counselor, because we have a summer program at Harvard School of Arts. And the very first day of the summer program, my boss, he was saying that I'm upgrading your position from being a regular camp counselor to a teacher. He told me this at 11:30 a.m. and I had to teach at 12 noon. And I was like, why didn't you tell me this before? He's like, yo, you're going to be fine. You're talented. I see how you are with the children. You can do this. And I thought it was only going to be 1 class, but I ended up teaching from 12 to 4 p.m. And it was 4 classes, and each class had maybe 30 kids in each, ranging from ages 4 to 8 years old. And that very first day, every class went extremely well. And that's when I knew that I was like, okay, all right, there's other people who believe I can do this. I see that I can do this, so now I guess I'm a teacher. So that's when I knew, like, okay, yeah, I've arrived.
Wow.
So for me, the moment I realized, this is that, I'm a teacher. When I was leaving, it was a career change. I was leaving the institution. I didn't go for a whole other job in a whole other field. As I was leaving, last day I was there getting hugs and, the tear line across my shirt from all the students crying in my stomach. And, I got a card, ironically, I can have it here. Great teachers. So I found this to be a very meaningful moment because it was more or less of the title and more so of the impact that I carried. It was more so like, yeah, you're a teacher. Like, these kids are looking at you for something. And it was a very phenomenal moment.
Wow. Godfrey has the heart of a teddy bear.
Yes.
No, that's awesome. Oh my gosh. All right, so for me, I think it was my students calling me Auntie Bev. Just being able to not only be their teacher and be strict, because don't get it twisted, I am very strict with my kids. But they still see that there is a loving and nurturing side. I feel that's when I felt like, oh my gosh, when you fail to plan, or when you fail to be patient with them, or when you fail to be, you're really affecting their future, not just as pianists, but as learners. A unique positioning where we're like, yeah, I'm your piano teacher, but I also affect your confidence. Yeah, I'm your piano teacher, but I'm also affecting the fact that you need to be patient. Yeah, I'm your piano teacher, but I'm teaching you now that you need to set goals even at 6 years old. We have like this unique ability to be a part of the village that raises these kids. We don't just take it for granted. All right.